Ladies and gentlemen, friends and dreamers, I stand before you today not because life has been simple, but because I chose to trust in the strength that resides within me. And that's what I want to discuss with you today: the power of choice, the power of believing that I can succeed. I understand that many of you here have confronted obstacles, difficulties that have tested your patience, your faith, and your resolve. Some of you have felt the urge to give up. Some of you have wondered whether you are enough or whether you are strong enough to face what lies ahead. But I want you to remember this: you are not defined by your circumstances. You are not defined by the challenges that have come into your life. You are defined by how you respond to them. And let me tell you, you can respond with power. You can respond with courage. You can respond with the belief that I can do it. When I was faced with an unforeseen shift in my life, one that led me to a place I never envisioned, I had two options: to shrink, to give up, or to rise and embrace the strength within me. And I chose to rise. I chose to embrace my pain and transform it into a wellspring of power. I want you to grasp this. Strength is not about having every single day, even when the world tries to tell you that you are not enough. Strength is about refusing to let fear control your life. Strength is about saying, I can do it, even when doubt tries to undermine your confidence. There were moments when I felt as if the world was collapsing around me, when I questioned if I had the fortitude to keep moving forward. But then I realized something. My story was not finished, and neither is yours. I know it's difficult. I know it feels as though the weight of the world rests on your shoulders. But take a moment to breathe deeply. Pause and look within. That spark you've been waiting for is already there. It is waiting for you to take that first step, to make that choice, the decision to rise above, to say, I can do it. I stand here today because I believe that every setback can be transformed into a comeback. I can speak to you today because I made the choice to break the chains of self-doubt. I can do it because I refuse to accept anything less than my own power. And so can you. Your dreams, your goals, they are not unreachable. You are capable of greatness, not because you're perfect, but because you possess the heart, the will, and the fire to keep moving forward. Every step, no matter how small, matters. Every effort you make is a victory. So I ask you today, what will you choose? Will you remain in the shadows of doubt? Or will you step into the light of possibility and declare, I can do it? There is nothing that can stop you, not the obstacles you face, not the people who doubt you, and not even the times when you feel lost. The only thing that can stop you is the belief that you cannot succeed. So let's make today the day we stop doubting ourselves. Let's make today the day we embrace our strength, our resilience, and our ability to overcome. Let's make today the day we declare, I can do it. Life has a way of challenging us, often in ways we least expect. It tests us, pushes us to our limits, and at times it even breaks us. But these challenges are not merely obstacles to be overcome. They are also opportunities for growth. The key to accepting your challenges is understanding that they are not meant to harm you, but to help you become the person you are destined to be. It is in the face of adversity that we discover our true strength, our resilience, and our capacity to rise above whatever life presents. When we think of challenges, we often see them as inconveniences, things that get in the way of our dreams or prevent us from living the life we desire. We wish we could escape them, avoid them, or make them disappear. But the truth is, every challenge we face has something valuable to teach us. Every difficult situation holds the potential to shape us into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of ourselves. At first glance, challenges can seem overwhelming. They can appear as insurmountable obstacles standing between us and our dreams. The fear of failure, the uncertainty about the future, and the doubts that creep into our minds can make the road ahead seem almost impossible to navigate. But it's essential to remember that challenges are not here to punish us. They are the experiences that allow us to build the mental, emotional, and physical endurance necessary to achieve what we want. When we find ourselves in a difficult situation, our instinct is often to resist, to fight it, to wish it away. We don't want to face the pain, the discomfort, or the uncertainty. We want the easy way out. But resisting the challenge only prolongs our suffering. It's like trying to swim against a current. The more we struggle, the harder it becomes to move forward. Instead, what we need to do is embrace the challenge. We need to accept that it is a part of our journey, a necessary step in our growth. Accepting a challenge doesn't mean we have to like it or feel comfortable with it. It simply means we acknowledge it for what it is, a teacher. Challenges have the power to change us, but only if we are willing to learn from them. They force us to look inside ourselves and ask difficult questions. What am I afraid of? What limiting beliefs do I have about myself? What am I capable of that I haven't yet realized? By answering these questions, we begin to uncover parts of ourselves that we never knew existed. Parts of us that are stronger, more capable, and more resilient than we could have imagined. It's also important to recognize that not all challenges are the same. Some are small, manageable obstacles that we can easily handle. Others, however, are far more difficult. These challenges may shake us to our core. They may test our faith, our patience, and our resolve to continue. But these are the challenges that have the most profound effect on our lives. It is in our darkest moments that we often discover the brightest light. When life knocks us down, we have the opportunity to rise, stronger, more determined, and more aligned with our true purpose. The key to accepting challenges is to shift our mindset. Instead of viewing them as roadblocks, we need to see them as stepping stones. Each challenge we face is an opportunity to learn something new, to develop a skill, or to strengthen our character. By overcoming challenges, we gain the confidence to face even greater obstacles in the future. We prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling whatever life presents. One of the most powerful aspects of embracing challenges is that it allows us to redefine success. We often define success by achieving a specific goal or reaching a particular destination. But success is not just about the end result, it's about the journey. It's about the lessons we learn along the way, the growth we experience, and the person we become as we face each challenge. Every challenge, no matter how difficult, brings us closer to the person we are meant to be. It's not just the destination that matters. It's the transformation that takes place as we navigate the obstacles life puts in our path. When we look at the most successful people in the world, we often see the end result, the fame, the wealth, the recognition. But what we don't always see is the struggle, the pain, and the obstacles they had to overcome to get there. Every success story is filled with challenges, moments of doubt, fear, and failure. What sets these individuals apart is not their ability to avoid challenges, but their ability to embrace them and learn from them. They understand that challenges are an essential part of the journey, and they don't let them deter them from their goals. It's also important to remember that challenges are not always external. Sometimes the greatest challenges we face are within ourselves. Our own fears, insecurities, and self-doubt can hold us back more than any external situation ever could. We may convince ourselves that we are not good enough, that we aren't capable of achieving our dreams, or that we don't deserve success. These internal challenges can be just as paralyzing as any external obstacle. But the beauty of these challenges is that we have the power to change our mindset. We can reframe our thoughts, replace negative beliefs with empowering ones, and create a new narrative for our lives. Embracing our internal challenges means accepting that we are not perfect, that we will make mistakes, and that we will stumble along the way. But it also means recognizing that each mistake is an opportunity to grow. It's through our failures that we learn what works and what doesn't. It's through our setbacks that we build resilience and determination. And it's through our internal challenges that we discover the strength we never knew we had. Another crucial element of embracing challenges is recognizing that we are not alone. We often think we must face our struggles in isolation, that we must tackle our challenges on our own. But the reality is, everyone faces challenges. Everyone has their own battles to fight, their own obstacles to overcome. It is through connection, through sharing our experiences and supporting each other, that we find the strength to keep going. We don't have to face our challenges alone. There is power in community, in knowing that others are walking the same path, facing similar struggles, and cheering us on as we press forward. Ultimately, embracing challenges is about cultivating a mindset of resilience. It's about understanding that life will not always be easy, but that doesn't mean we should give up. Instead, we must commit to showing up every day, even when things get difficult. We must commit to continuing, even when it feels like there's no way forward. And most importantly, we must commit to believing in ourselves, even when the odds seem against us. As we move through life, we will inevitably face challenges. Some will be small, others monumental. But no matter the size of the challenge, we have the ability to rise above it. We have the ability to transform our struggles into sources of strength, to turn our pain into power, and to use every challenge as an opportunity to grow. The key is not to avoid challenges, but to embrace them with open arms, to see them for what they truly are: opportunities for growth, transformation, and a deeper understanding of who we really are. And in doing so, we will discover that we are capable of so much more than we ever imagined. Strength is something that lives within each of us. It is not defined by the external world, by the praise we receive, or by the struggles we endure. True strength is not something we are born with. It is something we cultivate, something that grows and evolves over time. It is built on the foundation of our inner beliefs, our resilience, and our ability to overcome. When we talk about strength, we often make the mistake of thinking it's about how much we can endure physically or how much we can control. But strength is not always about control. It is not always about holding on or carrying burdens without breaking. In fact, real strength often emerges from surrender, from letting go of the illusion that we can control everything. When we think about strength, we often imagine it as something visible. We picture physical power, the kind that can be seen in a person's muscles or their ability to lift heavy objects. But true strength goes beyond the physical. It's about emotional resilience, mental toughness, and the courage to continue, even when things seem impossible. Strength is about perseverance, but it's also about knowing when to rest, when to step back, and when to ask for help. It's about having the wisdom to understand that vulnerability and strength are not mutually exclusive. In fact, recognizing our vulnerability is one of the strongest things we can do. It is in those moments of honesty with ourselves that we find the courage to grow. Our ability to find strength is shaped by our experiences, our upbringing, and the stories we tell ourselves. As we grow, we are taught that strength comes from conquering, from being the best, from never showing weakness. This societal narrative pressures us into thinking we must always appear strong, that we must always have everything figured out. But true strength is not about perfection. It's about authenticity. It's about showing up as our true selves, flaws and all, and being willing to face whatever comes our way with an open heart. What we often forget is that strength is not something we need to prove to the world. It is not something we need to perform. We don't need to show the world how strong we are for them to notice it. True strength is quiet. It's subtle. It's the ability to stand tall even when we feel like falling. It's the ability to walk through the storm knowing that the rain will eventually stop. It's in the moments of silence, when no one is watching, that strength often reveals itself the most. In our lives, we will encounter times when our strength will be tested. There will be moments when the world seems to be against us, when everything feels uncertain, and when we feel as though we're standing on the edge of a cliff. It is in these moments, when everything seems impossible, that our strength is called upon. It's easy to remain strong when everything is going well, when we have no obstacles in our way, but real strength is shown in how we respond to adversity, how we face the unknown, and how we handle failure. When we go through tough times, it can be easy to think that we are not strong enough to overcome them. We look at the enormity of our struggles and feel small in comparison. But this is where the most powerful form of strength lies, in the realization that we don't have to do it alone. Strength is not about isolation, it's about connection. It's about leaning on others, sharing our burdens, and knowing that there are people who understand and support us. Sometimes the strongest thing we can do is ask for help, to allow ourselves to be supported. Moreover, strength is not about suppressing our emotions or avoiding the pain. It's about processing those emotions, facing them head on, and allowing ourselves to feel, to grieve, to cry, and then rise again. True strength lies in embracing our emotions rather than hiding from them. It's in giving ourselves permission to not always have it together, to not always be okay, and to release the pressure to be invincible. It's in acknowledging that we are human and that there is immense power in our humanity. When we experience personal hardships, there may be moments when we feel like giving up. There may be times when we feel like we have nothing left to give, when we are so tired, both physically and emotionally, that we wonder if we'll make it through. But it is exactly in these moments that our inner strength shines the brightest. In our darkest hours, when we feel most defeated, we often find the courage to take that next step. We push forward even when we don't have the energy to. It is in these moments of exhaustion, when we think we can't go on, that we realize how deep our strength truly runs. It's a quiet power, one that emerges when we least expect it. But it is always there, waiting to carry us forward. We must remember that strength does not mean being invulnerable. It means being resilient, being adaptable, and being willing to stand tall in the face of challenges. Strength is found in our ability to adapt to change, to bounce back after setbacks, and to keep moving forward despite obstacles. It's the ability to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and try again. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it, growing from it, and using it as a stepping stone to the next level of our lives. Ultimately, strength is not something external that we have to find or prove to the world. It is something that exists within us, waiting to be nurtured. It's the quiet resilience that keeps us going, even when we feel like giving up. It's the courage to face the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust that we are capable of handling whatever life throws at us. It is not a characteristic we are born with, but a skill we develop over time. It is the power to keep moving forward, not because we are invincible, but because we believe that we can. Fear is something that every human being experiences, no matter where they come from or what they've gone through. It's a part of our lives, an emotion that creeps in when we face the unknown, when we feel like we are stepping into uncharted territory, or when we believe that we are not enough. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, to challenges, and to the possibility of failure. It's something that we cannot avoid, nor can we completely control. But the key to overcoming fear is not in trying to eliminate it, but in learning how to move forward in spite of it. Fear can feel paralyzing. It's that voice in our heads that tells us we're not capable, not strong enough, not deserving of success or happiness. It convinces us that failure is inevitable, that we should just give up before we even begin. The problem with fear is that it distorts reality. It blows things out of proportion, making mountains out of molehills. It creates stories in our minds that aren't based on truth, but on our anxieties and insecurities. Fear holds us back from reaching our full potential, and it often convinces us that we are smaller than we truly are. But fear is not the enemy. It's simply a part of being human, and it's something we all have to face. The real challenge is learning how to manage it, how to move through it, and how to not let it control our actions or define who we are. Fear will always be present in our lives, but it doesn't have to dictate our choices. We have the power to take that fear and use it as a tool, to let it guide us, not as a force that holds us back, but as a force that helps us grow. The first step in overcoming fear is to acknowledge it. We cannot fight what we do not recognize. Too often we try to push our fear aside, to ignore it, or to pretend it doesn't exist. But when we do this, we are only allowing it to control us from the shadows. When we name our fear, when we bring it into the light, we take away some of its power. Acknowledging fear allows us to understand it better, to realize that it's just an emotion and that it doesn't have to stop us. Fear only has power when we allow it to control our thoughts, cloud our judgment, and create false narratives in our minds. When we choose to face it head-on, we begin to strip it of its hold over us. The next step is to reframe our thinking about fear. Instead of seeing it as a sign that we should stop, we need to begin to see fear as a sign that we are on the right path. Fear often arises when we are about to step out of our comfort zone, when we are about to do something that challenges us or requires us to grow. It's a natural reaction to change, to stepping into the unknown. Instead of retreating from that fear, we should embrace it. When fear shows up, it's a signal that we are pushing our boundaries, that we are about to grow in ways we never thought possible. Fear, in this sense, becomes a companion in our journey, reminding us that we are doing something important, something worthwhile. Fear is often linked to failure, and it's this fear of failure that holds many people back. We fear not being good enough, not measuring up, or disappointing others. But the truth is, failure is not something to fear. Failure is a lesson. It's the process through which we learn, grow, and improve. Failure is an essential part of success. If we were to avoid failure, we would also avoid growth. Each failure teaches us something new about ourselves, about the world, and about how we can do things better next time. It's through failure that we develop resilience, perseverance, and the ability to keep going when things don't go as planned. We need to change our relationship with failure. Instead of seeing it as something to be avoided at all costs, we should see it as an opportunity for growth. When we make peace with the idea that failure is not the end of the road, but simply a stepping stone, fear begins to lose its power over us. We stop seeing failure as a reflection of our worth and start seeing it as an experience from which we can learn. This shift in mindset allows us to face fear with confidence, knowing that even if we fail, we are still moving forward. The real failure is not in trying and failing, it's in not trying at all, because of the fear of failure. Another important aspect of managing fear is to take action, even when we're afraid. Fear often tries to keep us stuck, convincing us that we're not ready, that we don't have what it takes, or that we'll fail. But the only way to move through fear is to act in spite of it. Action is the antidote to fear. When we take a step forward, even when we feel afraid, we begin to prove to ourselves that we are capable, that we can handle whatever comes our way. Each action we take, no matter how small, weakens the grip that fear has on us, and with each step, we build more confidence, more courage, and more strength. Taking action also helps us break things down into smaller, more manageable steps. Fear often arises when we look at the bigger picture, when we see a goal or an obstacle that seems too overwhelming to tackle. But if we break it down into smaller steps, the task becomes less daunting. Each small action we take is a victory, a step closer to our goal. The key is to focus on the next step, not the entire journey. When we do this, we realize that the things we fear are often not as big or as scary as we once thought. The more we focus on moving forward, the less room fear has to grow. At the end of the day, fear is something that everyone will experience, but it doesn't have to control us. It's just a feeling, a natural human emotion that doesn't have to define who we are or determine what we can achieve. The more we confront our fears, the more we realize that we are stronger than we ever imagined. Each time we push through fear, we get closer to our true potential. Fear is not something to avoid, it's something to move through, to learn from, and to overcome. And with every step, we build more confidence, more resilience, and more belief in ourselves. Every step we take in life, no matter how small, brings us closer to where we are meant to be. Progress isn't always about giant leaps or immediate success. It's about the consistency, the determination, and the perseverance that we apply to each moment, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may seem. When we look at the bigger picture, it can be easy to become discouraged, to feel overwhelmed by the distance between where we are and where we want to be. The goal can sometimes seem too far, the road too long, and the obstacles too great. But the truth is, progress is built on small, consistent steps. Each action we take, no matter how minor it seems, is one step closer to the future. We long for the beauty of progress, yet its power lies in its subtlety. We often expect drastic transformations, sudden leaps that will clearly separate where we once stood from where we aspire to be. However, in most cases, progress is gradual and steady. It is the quiet, persistent efforts that accumulate over time. We may not always witness immediate outcomes from our hard work, but that does not mean it is not having an impact. Just because the results are not instantly visible does not mean the effort is wasted. The foundation we build with every small action, each minor step, is what ultimately enables us to reach our greater aspirations. One of the most significant struggles individuals encounter while chasing their dreams is the sensation of stagnation. We may feel discouraged when the immediate results we anticipated do not appear. In a world that often prioritizes instant gratification, we have become accustomed to expecting swift outcomes. However, the reality is that meaningful and lasting progress requires patience. It is the slow accumulation of effort, the steady building of momentum, that truly creates a lasting impact. No one achieves greatness in an instant. The most remarkable successes in history were constructed through years of dedication, small choices, and unwavering commitment. Even during times when it seemed like there was little progress being made. The secret to making real progress is trusting the process. It means understanding that every action, no matter how minor, plays a role in the bigger picture. Trusting the process requires confidence that your hard work is not in vain, even when immediate results are not apparent. Sometimes, progress does not resemble progress at all. Instead, it may look like failure, obstacles, or moments where we feel stuck. Yet even in those moments, progress is unfolding. Every setback we experience, every mistake we make, and every challenge we face is shaping us, guiding us closer to our ultimate goal. Every experience we go through is part of the journey, and every small step forward still counts as progress. It is equally important to understand that progress does not always resemble success. In fact, some of the most transformative growth occurs during periods of difficulty, in moments when nothing seems to be going according to plan. Progress is not solely about reaching the final destination. It is about the personal development that happens throughout the journey. Every obstacle, every struggle, and every failure offers valuable lessons. Becoming the person who is capable of achieving great things is just as essential as the dream itself. It is during tough moments that we uncover our true strength, resilience, and ability to push forward. Progress demands patience. It is easy to feel discouraged when we do not see immediate results, but patience is an essential element of the journey. We must allow ourselves the space to grow, to learn, and to make mistakes along the way. Without patience, we risk giving up just before we are about to experience the breakthrough we have been working toward. However, patience does not mean standing still or doing nothing. It means continuing to move forward even when progress appears slow or invisible. It means having faith that every small step taken is accumulating and will eventually lead us to where we want to be. True success takes time. And every day we show up and commit to the journey, we are moving closer to something greater. Another fundamental aspect of progress is consistency. Taking a few steps toward our goals is not enough. We cannot expect immediate results from minimal effort. Progress is about showing up every single day, even when motivation is low, even when there are no immediate rewards. Consistency is what transforms small efforts into habits, and habits are what ultimately lead to success. It is the commitment to the work day after day, despite exhaustion, uncertainty, or a lack of visible progress. The most successful individuals are not necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They are the ones who continue to show up, who persist through adversity, and who refuse to quit. Progress also requires courage, the courage to keep moving forward, especially when things get tough. The path to success is never a straight line. It is filled with unexpected twists, turns, and obstacles. There will be moments when we feel like giving up, when we question whether the journey is even worth it. It is in these moments that we must remind ourselves why we started. It is in these moments that we prove to ourselves that we are strong enough to continue. The determination to keep going despite uncertainty is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who abandon them along the way. The beauty of progress is that it does not demand perfection. It is not about getting every step right or making flawless decisions. It is about movement, not perfection. The journey is often messy, filled with mistakes, missteps, and periods of doubt. But that is completely fine. Every imperfect step is still a step forward. Every mistake holds a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to grow. And every small action contributes to the bigger picture. The key is to keep going, to continue taking steps forward, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Because in the end, it is the steady accumulation of these small, consistent steps that leads to true success. Progress may not always be obvious, but it is always happening. Every step we take, no matter how small, moves us closer to where we want to be. It is in the daily efforts, the quiet persistence, and the unwavering commitment that real progress is made. And it is in those moments when we push forward despite uncertainty that we lay the foundation for the success and growth we truly desire. The challenge of overcoming adversity is something everyone encounters at some stage in life. It is a shared human experience, shaping us in profound and deeply personal ways. Adversity comes in many forms: physical, emotional, financial, or psychological. And it often arises when we least expect it. It tests our limits, forcing us to confront aspects of ourselves we may prefer to avoid. However, adversity also carries the potential to transform us, to reveal strengths we never knew we possessed, and to present opportunities for growth that we may have otherwise overlooked. The key to overcoming adversity is not in avoiding it, but in facing it with resilience and courage. When we think of adversity, we often associate it with pain. It is natural to want to escape hardship, to protect ourselves from the discomfort it brings. When difficulties arise, they can feel overwhelming, making our struggles seem impossible to overcome. In these moments, our instinct may urge us to surrender, to retreat, or to give up, but avoiding adversity does not make it disappear. It only postpones the inevitable and leaves us unprepared for the challenges that life will continue to present. Instead, we must learn to face adversity directly, not because we seek pain, but because enduring challenges strengthens us, teaches us, and propels us forward. When we confront adversity, we gain valuable experiences and develop resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks, to push forward despite difficulties. It is not an innate trait, but something we cultivate over time, often as a result of facing hardships. Each struggle we overcome makes us stronger, equipping us with the tools we need to handle future obstacles. Adversity also reveals the depths of our inner strength. When life is easy, we rarely challenge our own limits. It is only when we are tested that we uncover our true resilience, courage, and ability to adapt. Difficult moments show us who we really are, demanding that we rise above our fears and doubts. Perhaps one of the most valuable lessons adversity teaches is the power of perspective. When we are deep in struggle, it is easy to become consumed by it. But adversity can shift our perspective, forcing us to reevaluate our priorities and focus on what truly matters. It reminds us to be grateful for what we have and to recognize our own strength. Instead of seeing adversity as a roadblock, we can learn to view it as an opportunity for transformation. We begin to see it through a different perspective. What once seemed like a roadblock transforms into a stepping stone on the way to something greater. Adversity also teaches us the value of connection. During difficult times, it's easy to feel isolated, to believe that we are alone in our struggles. But the reality is that we are never truly alone. No matter how isolating our experiences may seem, there are others who have walked similar paths and can offer support, guidance, and understanding. Adversity encourages us to lean on those around us, to seek help when we need it, and to offer support to others when they are struggling. It reminds us that we are stronger when we face challenges together, that there is strength in unity, and that no one has to endure tough times alone.